It started with a flicker, a moment so small, so easy to dismiss, yet it planted a seed of confusion. One morning, I stood in my kitchen, tea in hand, thinking about my day. The next thing I knew, hours had vanished. My tea was cold, the sun had shifted, and my memory was blank. At first I blamed stress or lack of sleep. We all zone out sometimes, right? But this was different. It felt like someone had cut a scene from my life, leaving a jarring gap. The fear crept in I was losing time, and I didn't know why. Soon it happened more often. I'd find myself across town holding things I didn't remember buying. The rationalizations stopped making sense. The fear grew, a cold knot in my stomach. I was becoming a mystery to myself, a puzzle with missing pieces. The thought that I might never find those pieces was the most terrifying thing I had ever faced. The evidence piled up, notes in sharp handwriting I didn't recognize, tucked into my pockets. Don't forget to eat. He is not safe. My phone showed texts I didn't remember sending, conversations I couldn't recall. My friends thanked me for advice I never gave. Reading my own words felt like reading a stranger's script. I started a journal, hoping to track my days. But soon, entries appeared in that same unfamiliar handwriting, describing feelings and events I didn't remember. The other writer spoke of protecting me, of stepping in when I was overwhelmed. It was no longer just lost time. Someone else was living in those hours. I felt like a passenger in my own body, the world suddenly unsafe because the chaos was coming from within. I withdrew, afraid of what I might do or say without knowing. I was a prisoner in my own mind, with no idea who held the key. The breaking point came quietly. After a stressful week, I sat in my car, overwhelmed. The next thing I knew, I woke up in a hotel room 2 towns over. My work clothes were folded, I wore unfamiliar pajamas, and a room service tray sat nearby. Panic set in. This was no longer stress. This was a 5-alarm fire in my life. I looked in the mirror and saw a stranger's eyes staring back. The journey home was a blur of shame and terror. My life had been hijacked by a part of me I couldn't control. The trust I had in myself was shattered. I was afraid to sleep, afraid of what I might do next. Isolation became my fortress, but I realized I was trapped inside with my fear. I couldn't do this alone. The journal, the text, the lost time, it was too much. With trembling hands, I called for help, hoping for answers. Walking into the therapist's office felt like surrender. I told her about the lost hours, the notes, the feeling of being a passenger. She listened, not with disbelief but with empathy. After careful evaluation, she gave it a name: dissociative identity disorder, DID. She explained it wasn't like the movies. It was a survival mechanism, born from overwhelming trauma. Different parts, or alters, held memories and emotions I couldn't handle. My alter wasn't an enemy, but a protector, stepping in when I was too stressed or scared. The journal became a bridge, not a battlefield. I started writing letters to my alter, and it wrote back. Not with warnings, but with explanations. The battle I'd fought was against myself, but now, I saw my alter as a guardian. My therapist encouraged communication, not conflict. It was the beginning of a conversation and the first step toward healing. Healing isn't a straight line. Therapy became my anchor, and the goal was cooperation, not erasure. We built co-consciousness, awareness of each other, less lost time, more teamwork. The journal became a shared space for planning and understanding. I learned my alter's triggers and managed my stress, building trust within myself. My alter was not my shame, but my resilience. Friends and family now understand offering support and acceptance. Living with DID is a journey of discovery. Wholeness isn't about being seamless, but about embracing all your pieces. The future isn't something I fear anymore. It's something we're building together.